For decades, Anita Tucker successfully farmed in her community of Netzer Hazani. She helped build the Jewish enclave of Gush Katif from the sand dunes of Gaza.
This is the main town of Gush Katif, Neve Dekalim, and the buildings that you see here are still standing from what we know last. At the beginning, they were a university for women Palestinian terrorists.
What a story. Like a bad movie.
Tucker told CBN's Scott Ross about one of her first encounters that still seems hard to believe.
One day we see, like out of no place comes, like out from under the sand dune comes this Arab with his keffiyeh and his long galabiyah, his long Arab robe. And there comes out this other Arab, a little bit intimidating, and all of a sudden we see they have bread and salt in their hands in the Muslim tradition. Bruchim habayim, welcome, they say to us. We're so glad that you're here.
And these are Arabs.
Arabs, and they say, we're so happy that you're here. Maybe there'll be some work for our people.
The communities began to thrive, and over 30 years, agriculture grew to a $60 million per year industry, providing 15% of Israel's exported vegetables.
Were your Arab neighbors surprised by your success, that you had brought something of a blessing out of a curse?
They were happy with that blessing because there was work for their people. We taught them modern agriculture.
So you had Arab neighbors and you got along with each other. There was no conflict, nothing.
No.
Where did it break down?
When the world started talking about peace, because I always say they misspelled it, and instead of writing P-E-A-C-E, somebody by mistake wrote P-I-E-C-E, and they started tearing us to pieces and tearing the Arabs living in Gaza to pieces. I think the real trouble started when they brought Yasser Arafat to the Gaza Strip.
As time went by and talk of the so-called disengagement grew, Tucker, then known as the Celery Lady, talked to CBN News in 2005 about the prospect of being forced from her home.
It can't be that people who are living peacefully in a place and it turned into a flourishing, beautiful area should have to leave their home. And around us there are people who are trying to murder us, throwing rockets at us, trying to kill us.
The 9,000 residents of Gush Katif decided not to voluntarily leave. They felt they had settled biblical land promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob with the blessing of the Israeli government. After more than 30 years of successful building and farming on the Gaza sand dunes, it took just a week to obliterate Jewish life there.
This is a caravilla. There were 250 for originally 1,800 families that were in Gush Katif.
How far are you from the border here?
We're about 25 kilometers from the border.
So is there any danger for you here?
First of all, you have to understand this temporary site. Everything is cardboard paper. Nothing is like really protected area. The only protected areas that we have are these sewer pipes. But it means that when the siren goes off, all the families have to run outside, even if it's in the middle of the night.
So you don't have bomb shelters?
We don't have bomb shelters.
Why do you choose to stay here?
It's because maybe they don't have the finances in order to build, and they're quite stuck until the government finds some kind of solution for them.
Lorenz Baziz and her husband were also farmers. Now she works in the visitor center that tells the history of Gush Katif.
Aside from dealing with the hardships of the people and the rebuilding of the communities, we felt that we have a story to tell. It's a whole huge story of pioneering the land of Israel. Although there are a lot of hardships, there are also communities that are flourishing.
The community of Netzer Hazani is one that stuck together. Some 100 families built this new community, kept the old name, and moved in 3 years ago.
All the time, from the minute that we left, we switched mode and said, we are building again, we're staying together as a community.
Do you know what's happened to your own land there?
We know the soldiers who were there. Our town is back to being the sand dunes that were.
Would you have any desire to go back to Gaza?
I'll be the first in line. As soon as it's safe to go there and the government says come back, I'll be the first in line.